Hi guys, Jay from Just Technics coming at you live from the flat. We're coming at you from home at the moment. Looking back at the Pioneer DDJ-REV7 turntablist slash open format DJ controller. I thought I'd do a quick video just asking one simple question. So everyone's on the motorised platter hype at the moment, and yeah, I can see the appeal to it. And everyone's mentioning Denon units that spin around. We're all looking at the old Technics SLDZs. Even the Rain ones, the Rain 12s, they're all getting mentions. But what about this one? Why has nobody mentioned the Traktor Control S4 MK3? Has everyone seemed to have forgotten about this little beauty? Now, this is actually mine. This is my unit. So I use this a lot. I was using it alongside the two Mark 5s and recently the Mixars LTAs that I've just put the video on this morning. So the desk space at the moment is going to be a little bit more empty until I decide what's going to go next to this. But yeah, this is my unit. So let's look at the pros and cons between these two then. So first things first, everyone's going on about motorised platters. As you can quite clearly see, this is a motorised platter on both sides as well. So motorised platters, they're a nice size, not overly massive. Don't really need 7-inch platters for scratching if I'm being totally honest with you, but they have nice sized platters. You've got haptic feedback as well. Haptic feedback, so just put this the easy way. If you play PlayStation or you play the Xbox, you use vibrations through the controller when you do various different tasks. Crash into a wall in a car, you're going to feel it, right? Well, this is the same sort of similar thing. If you pull a trigger on a gun on a game, you're going to get your first beat on this. It lets you feel the first beat of your track. So the best way of doing this, if you look at the screen as well, you see that little green line that's on there? That's one of my cue points. The minute you do that and go over the top, if I don't talk and you listen to this, look. Can you hear that? That is actually vibrating through the platter. So it's telling you that that is your point. So you know when your first beat is, because that is actually cued my point. That's awesome. This doesn't do that. That's awesome, right? Yes, these are bigger. Yes, they have strobe dots. The strobe dots mean nothing. This has rubberized edging on it. You have the functionality of turning the platter off completely. You've got jog mode and turntable mode. Really are the two that you're going to be using. So again, strobes are just for show. The sides on this are just for show. But they both react very similarly. Now, this actually feels a little bit heavier. So again, because this isn't really designed for scratching DJs, turntablists, etc., open format boys, you may not get along with this. But there's only one little drawback as to why I don't really get on with this too much for scratching, and that is the crossfader. We'll get into that in a minute. But yeah, the two of these together, you've got an acrylic vinyl touch top, like I've already explained to you all before. Does feel really nice during use. I think it's just that little bit too slippery, personally. I think it could do with roughening it up a little bit. Maybe, you know, when you touch the top, it does feel like it wants to slow down. I think it is just too loose. Way too loose for what it is. Like touching glass. I said it before in my previous video. But all in all, great concept. Really like it. But let's look at the pros and cons, like I've said. Platters on both. The price, guys. What's that, 1,899 quid? This is just under £1,000, I think. You get 4 channels. I didn't pay that for that, obviously. I look out for a bargain, right? So, 4 channels, 4 individual inputs. You can run 2 turntables through this. If you're using line inputs on these for turntables, for things like not the reloops even, I think the reloops have line output. I can't really remember when I did the review on them. But my Mixars, for an example, had dual lines. So you could run 2 in either one if you really wanted to. You can have a line output and a phono. So if you've got any turntables that have line outputs, you can run them on this. You've got 4 inputs on there, 2 phono inputs. You basically have to hold the shift button down and push one of the extension buttons on the top, and it changes it to phono level signal, and it comes through lovely and clear. Headphone cueing sounds fantastic. It's lovely quality. Faders are extremely smooth on this. And this is where the problem happens. The crossfader. Like I've explained, the crossfader on this thing is extremely heavy. It's designed more for mixing DJs, people that are throwing samples on, for sample decks, remix decks. So it's not really designed for scratching. You can pull off some scratches on it, and I have done that. That's hence why I use it. There's no functionality as far as I could see at the moment for running this with an inno fader, which is such a shame because that is the one thing that lets this down. We need an inno fader. So Elliot, if you're watching this from inno fader, my friend, please please make one for this, because this is the one thing that lets this controller down, is the crossfader. You got screens on them, guys. You got a screen built into these as well. It shows you various different points like this, for an example. Depending on the size of the waveform, it actually does move all the way across. Full-size tracks, it's not going to show you the line going through the track. Well, mine doesn't anyway. There are mods available for this now that you can pay and download. So you can change various different preferences on the controller, like LED colours. Also, the pitch control on this, even though you're not going to be that bothered about that, I would have thought, because obviously it is a controller. But as you can see, it doesn't just move suddenly. It is lovely and smooth as well. And it is nice to use. And the thing that I do like about this is that even though if you were to be lazy and match the BPMs up of either side of your tracks, you get them just about right. You still find that they slightly drift, and you have to manipulate this the same as you would do with a record. Now, this is why I like using them with motorized platters, because you get that more tactile, hands-on feeling like you do with mixing and using records, purely for the fact that you have to be hands-on to keep them in time. There's no pitch bend button. There's no buttons on this for pitch bend. So you have to rely on your senses to push and stop this. It's awesome. It really is. Also, when you're running a live input and you're playing through, let's say for an example, you're playing through a timecode record or phase, for an example, yeah? Your BPMs on there will come up on here. So your BPMs, and when you actually move the pitch control on the turntable, you actually get the live readout on here as well. The only letdown, which I was a bit gutted about, I'm going to try and find a workway around this. I wanted to see if I could actually manipulate the platters, trick it into thinking that it's running on the same channel as the as a DVS channel, so that I can manipulate my track using the platters. So when you want to pitch bend a Super OEM deck, which we all know is a real pain in the arse trying to keep them in time, instead of having to keep moving the pitch and hopefully not ruin your mix, we can just manipulate the platter to sort of pitch bend it up or down without having to touch your record. That's soon to be figured out, but all in all, they're great. The effects section's brilliant. There's filters built in. You can interchange your effects. And all in all, I give this a 10 out of 10. It's not a huge unit like the Pioneer unit is either. It's a nice size. And I'm just really surprised that no one's actually given this the time of day since the Pioneer or any of the other units have come out with motorised platters. Because this thing is fantastic, but it is extremely big. And if you're running out of space, I mean, look how much... I mean, you see the size of my deck stand, guys, but it takes up a hefty amount of room. I mean, just having this unit on here, I could fit one turntable either side. Obviously, it is big. The mixer section's fantastic. I love this, and the fader feels great, but it's just so big. That's what she said. It's just so big. But yeah, so I'd like your opinion on this, guys, really. Who else out there thinks that this controller should be given a bit more love? Because I certainly do. I mean, I think it's fantastic for the price point. I mean, you can pick these up a little bit cheaper now. I got a really good deal on this one here when I bought mine privately. I bought the box, everything. It's in fantastic condition. As good. It is literally as new. And I'm well happy with this. I've had it for a little while now. So yeah, anybody else that thinks this should be given some more love, please do comment below. As for the Pioneer, going back to this again, I'm still on the fence. I mean, as a turntablist tool for scratching and throwing off the odd mix of things, it is awesome. It is just these damn pitch controls. They are so awkward at this angle. For someone like myself that, yes, I scratch, but I spend 90% of my time mixing. I want them down here. I want battle style pitch. I want club style pitch. And I'm not going to be the only person that's put on the fence about this, and I think that may be the only reason as to why anybody that wants a motorised platter unit like this is going to be drawn towards the Rain unit because of the pitch controls. And that is what puts me off of physically buying one of these for myself. That, and because I also think that give it 6 months down the line, they'll probably bring out a unit like this with a screen built in and a USB socket either side, and it'll be an all-in-one unit with motorised platters. And hopefully by that point, that will be down here like a club style, and every single DJ is going to want to jump on board. That's my own input on this. And they're going to, I mean, let's be realistic. Like I've said, they're going to bring this out as CDJs. They've already cracked it now with this. They're going to bring them into CDJs, and that'll be the next thing too. So I'm not going to just jump ship straight away and buy one of these, because I do not like the pitch control area on them at all. It just feels alien. I've always had things in the battle style. I've never had things in the battle style. It's always been club. But yeah, that's my 2 pence thrown in there anyway, everybody. So if you've got one of these units, then let me know in the comments, because like I just said, I don't think it gets enough love and everyone seems to have forgotten about it. If you've never seen one before, take a look on YouTube. Like I say, it's Traktor S4 MK3. Phenomenal 4-channel mixer. You can use it with DVS or controller even. Phenomenal bit of kit. Use it with DVS, use it with Traktor. Obviously it's Traktor units, so you have to use it with Traktor. But yeah, there we go everybody. And I thought I'd just show you that. And the next little job on the list now is to get the mix repaired and everything like I promised everybody on this. And stick it on Mixcloud. So that's why it's all plugged in. So keep your eyes peeled. The link will be either on the Pioneer link at some point, I'm hoping tonight, if it lets me upload in time. But yeah, the video will be up very, very soon. Or even audio file even, sorry. It depends on what I want to do. But either way, either a Mixcloud link or a video link will be provided. Alright guys, any questions on either of these two products, please feel free to let me know in the comments section, anything you'd like me to know. One thing I will say to you all though is there's been some stupid comments, I've got to be honest. Keep your negatives to yourselves, guys. I mean, I've done it, so obviously I moderate all of the comments that get put on the page. And with the greatest of respect, if I went on your page and just started spouting off a load of rubbish because, you know, you don't think something's in-depth enough, look, I mean, I don't see anybody else running out and spending all this money to go out and actually buy the units. If I wasn't lent this by Pioneer, I would have spent £1,900 just to do this review. I genuinely would have done. I spent the best part of 2-3 on a pair of Technics GRs. I spent £1,600, £1,700 on 2 individual Mark 7s, along with other turntables. So I do this. And if there's something you genuinely don't like or something that you'd like to see a bit different, leave a comment on the video. I'm happy to help in any way I can, but if you're going to start being nasty, then all that's going to happen is you'll just be blocked and removed. And a lot of people who don't appreciate this are already on that list, I'm afraid. So just please keep your comments down to a positive, guys, please. I'm only trying to help you out and give you some advice, but this is a great bit of kit, and so is the Pioneer, depending on what you're after. And like I say, have a look and see what you think. Any questions? You know how to get hold of me. Cheers, guys.